For a long time, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 has been one of my favorite small cameras. It's compact, the image quality is excellent, and it's been an easy grab when I want good-looking video without carrying a big setup. But recently, after spending some real time with the Insta360 GO Ultra, my mindset is starting to shift. Not because the Pocket 3 suddenly became worse, but because I started thinking less about specs and more about how I actually film my life. I don't vlog. I'm not walking around talking to a camera. Most of the video I shoot is family stuff. Christmas mornings, trips, everyday moments I just want to remember. So in this video, I'm not trying to crown the best vlogging camera, I want to answer a different question. Which one of these cameras makes most sense as a dad cam? Something that's easy to carry, easy to use, and lets you capture moments without turning them into a production. Now, when I say dad cam, I'm not talking about specs on a box or what looks better in a YouTube thumbnail. I'm talking about a camera that actually fits into real life. Something that's small enough to always have with you, fast enough where you don't miss the moment, and simple enough that you're not thinking about settings while everything happens around you. A good dad cam shouldn't pull attention away from your family or make the moments feel staged. It should just quietly do its job in the background. That's the mindset I'm using for this comparison, because depending on how you film, the best camera on paper isn't always the one you'll reach for when it really matters. Before I ever touched the GO Ultra, the Osmo Pocket 3 was easily one of my favorite compact cameras, and for good reasons. The image quality you get out of this thing is so impressive. It shoots 10-bit color, offers a log profile, and gives you more dynamic range than most small cameras, which makes it much easier to color grade and match with other cameras later. If you're mixing footage for a mirrorless camera, iPhones, or other DJI cameras, the Pocket 3 fits right in. Add to that the built-in mechanical gimbal, you get smooth, controlled footage that looks intentional and polished, especially for indoor family moments or more cinematic shots. When I want to be deliberate about filming, the Osmo Pocket 3 is my go-to. Where the Osmo Pocket 3 starts to feel a little different for me is how intentional it makes the whole process. The moment I pull it out, I'm clearly filming. I'm holding a camera, people notice it, I'm thinking about framing, movement, and where to put it when I'm done. The gimbal does an amazing job. It also means I'm a bit more careful with it, especially around kids or in busy environments. None of this is a flaw, it's just the nature of a handheld gimbal camera. It's fantastic when you want control, but for quick, in-between moments, I sometimes found myself reaching for my phone instead, simply because it was faster and less distracting. Using the Insta360 GO Ultra feels like a completely different mindset. The first thing you'll notice is how small and light this camera is, especially after you take it out of the action pod. It has magnets built in, so mounting it is fast and almost effortless. Whether it's clipped to your shirt, mounted on a pendant, or stuck somewhere nearby. Because it's hands-free, I'm not deciding whether to film or not. I just let it go while I do what I normally do. I don't think about framing, I don't think about where to hold it, and I don't feel like I'm pulling a camera into the moment.
This is delicious.
It just quietly captures what's happening, and that alone changed how often I actually record family moments. This is where the difference between these two cameras actually shows up in family situations. With the Osmo Pocket 3, filming is a conscious choice. You decide to take it out, hold it, and point it at what's happening. This works great if you want control, but it also means you're always slightly removed from the moment. With the GO Ultra, the camera disappears. It's already mounted, already recording, and I'm free to use both hands and stay fully present. I'm not choosing between being involved and getting a shot. I get both.
Are you cold?
Neither approach is better in every situation, but for family life, where moments happen quickly and unpredictably, hands-free recording made a bigger difference than I expected. Mounting is another area where these two cameras take very different approaches. With the GO Ultra, mounting is part of the design. The magnetic system on the back makes it quick to attach a camera in places you'd never bother setting up a traditional camera. On your chest, on a railing, on a fridge, or anywhere nearby that happens to be metal. That opens up a ton of creative angles with almost no setup time. The Osmo Pocket 3, on the other hand, is primarily designed to be handheld. You can mount it, but it usually means extra accessories and a bit more effort. Again, that's not a downside. It just means the Pocket 3 is better suited for plant shots, while the GO Ultra encourages you to capture angles simply because it's easy to do so. Durability is another factor that matters more in real life than it does on a spec sheet. The GO Ultra is waterproof up to 10 meters and designed to handle drops and everyday bumps which makes it much easier to use around kids, around water, and when you're traveling. I don't feel like I need to baby it. The Osmo Pocket 3 by comparison is more delicate. The gimbal is exposed, it's not waterproof, and I'm always a bit more conscious of where I set it down or who's holding it. That extra caution doesn't make it a bad camera, but it does change how relaxed I feel using it in a busy, unpredictable situations like family trips or holidays. When it comes to image quality, this is where the Osmo Pocket 3 clearly has a technical edge. It records 10-bit color and offers a log profile, which gives you more dynamic range and much more flexibility when it comes to color grading. If you care about matching footage with other cameras or dialing in a specific look, the Pocket 3 makes that process noticeably easier. The Go Ultra doesn't offer the same level of color depth or grading flexibility, but it does include Insta360's Pure Video mode, which is designed to improve low-light performance by reducing noise and enhancing brightness. In good lighting, the Go Ultra's footage looks clean and sharp straight out of the camera, and its wide field of view adds to the immersive POV-style feel. So, while the Pocket 3 wins on image flexibility, the Go Ultra holds its own for everyday moments where speed and simplicity matter more than post-production control. Price and availability are also worth talking about, especially if you live in the US. I live in Canada, so I'm going to mention both Canadian and US pricing. In Canada, the Insta360 GO Ultra typically sells for about $599 to about 670 Canadian dollars, while the Osmo Pocket 3 usually comes in closer to $579, with the Creator Combo kits costing quite a bit more. In the US, you can normally get the Insta360 GO Ultra for about $450 to $500 US, depending on the bundle, while the Osmo Pocket 3 can cost anywhere from $799 to almost $1,000 US, depending on the retailer and availability. It's also worth noting that DJI products have seen some pricing shifts and availability challenges in the US, which can make the Pocket 3 harder to find or more expensive, depending on when and where you're buying. Neither one of these cameras is overpriced for what it offers, they just deliver different value in very different ways. When I step back and look at how I actually use these cameras, this is where the difference becomes clear for me. The Osmo Pocket 3 is still an excellent camera, and I still enjoy using it when I want intentional shots, higher dynamic range, or footage I know I'll spend time color grading later. But for everyday family life, holidays, trips, quick moments that happen without warning, I found myself reaching for the Go Ultra more often. Not because it's better on paper, but because it fits more naturally into my day. It's always with me, it doesn't interrupt what's happening, and it makes recording feel effortless instead of deliberate. At the end of the day, there really isn't a wrong choice here. The Osmo Pocket 3 and the Insta360 GO Ultra are both excellent cameras. They're just designed for very different ways of filming. For me, right now, the Go Ultra fits my life better. And that's ultimately what I want from a dad cam. The best camera isn't the one with best specs, it's the one that actually gets used. Check out the link below and let me know which option suits you best. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.